I know that some people are worried, like stand-up comics are really like, mean or like controversial, but I'm not gonna try, I'm gonna try not to do that. So I made a little list of the types of jokes I'm gonna tell today. So there's gonna be 1.5 political jokes. So I'm sorry about that if I hope everybody's okay with that. There's gonna be 1 Mormon joke. I think all sets have one Mormon joke. In terms of racial jokes, oh good. Oh my god. I had forgotten when I put there, I was like, what the heck? Okay. And then there's 8 extremely funny jokes. Just get ready for those. And then there's 3 jokes that are not funny at all. I bet you're wondering, why would we do 3 jokes that are not funny? But I'm gonna tell you why. At some point during here, you're gonna be like, that joke wasn't funny. And then you're gonna go, oh, it's one of those 3 jokes. It's a little off-putting because sometimes I'll be talking to somebody about something, they'll be telling me something serious, and I'll be like, oh, what would be funny? And I'll pull out my joke book, I'll start writing. And I think in a way it's worse because I'm a therapist, and these are my patients. So, yeah, that's not great. Like the other day I was talking to this woman and I said, oh, you only make that story funny. And she said, Dr. Robbins, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm like talking about my breakup, and I was like, oh wow. Like I hadn't been listening to her for like 2 or 3 months. Yeah. How Jung thought about things, how Freud thought about things, I learned about attachment. So when someone's sitting across from me, I'm taking all of that information and I'm thinking, okay, this person is having trouble in their relationship probably because of abandonment issues, avoiding attachment. And I'll say something profound like this. And that usually does it. But sometimes I have to say this. Because some people have more difficult lives. And nowadays, when you do therapy, you also have to understand medicine. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't actually prescribe medicine, but I have to have a sense of like which medicines might work best for which people, Like there's this one guy that I work with who's really angry all the time and struggles with his wife, and he's hard to be around and stuff. So like 30 minutes before he comes, I'll take like 0.5 milligram of Xanax. And I find that that's really helpful. So you can come home after a day and feel like, I haven't really helped anybody, And you feel kind of bad about it. But luckily I keep really good records and I keep track of my clients. So if I'm having a bad day like that, I realize therapy takes time and I'll look back at some records. Like this guy came to see me, and then 2 years later, can you see the improvement? Couples therapy. Couples therapy is hard. You only get small increments of improvement. You see, and my patients now will buy these things. And it's like free advertising, but also people just like it. It makes them feel comfortable, like I'm down. Oh, and this one I really like. It says, my spouse went to therapy with Michael Robbins, and all I got was a spouse. I'm going to tell you my coming out story with my parents when I was a kid. So I grew up in the 80s, which was not like it is now. It was very heteronormative. Like you were either like a really masculine guy, or you're like a really feminine girl, and there wasn't really much in between. And I finally decided, like, I'm gonna tell my parents. So I came home and I said, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm dating this girl named Lisa. And my mom said, but Michael, you're gay. Like, you're really, really gay. And I said, no, actually, it turns out I like women. And she said, listen, Michael, this could just be a phase. Like, people change as they get older. You never know. My dad jumped in, he said, hey, why don't you just try like making out with a few guys, just like maybe not found it right on yet, And I felt kind of bad that they didn't understand me, but I think they had my best interest in mind. They said that they're fine with me being like this, but they didn't. But the fact that I like musicals and I'm really bad at sports and my wrists are so small, they didn't think society would accept me as a straight man. And it was quite hard in the 80s being accepted like this as a straight man. Like people would be like, well, if you're straight, why do you hang out with so many women? If you're straight, like, why do you go to gay bars sometimes? If you're straight, why are you giving me a blowjob? So anyway, when I was at school, I mean, very effeminate at school, and so every time I come out of the drama club or whatever, this bully would come up to me and say like, "Hey, you gay-ass homo." Like every day. And you guys think I'm joking, this is the 80s, this is what they were like, "You gay-ass homo, you gay-ass homo." One day I had enough, and I said, "Hey, bully." I called him bully. "Hey, bully, I'm not gay, I'm just Jewish." He said, "Yeah, but you seem gay, like really, really gay." And I said, yeah, I get that a lot, but it turns out I like women." He was like, "Wow." So as he was walking away, he turned around and said, "See you tomorrow, you big-nosed, cheap-ass Jew." Back then, Jews and gay men were very similar. We had a lot of things in common. I mean, besides the fact that we were effeminate and we were nerdy, we definitely liked our moms too much. We also controlled Hollywood. We loved the musical Oklahoma, but we would never want to be caught dead in Oklahoma. And we had one god, and her name is Barbara Streisand.
Yes.
Thank you. Also, the first person to touch our penises was a guy. That's not the funny part. But for Jews, it was this guy, and he was circumcising us. That's the funny part. So, like, I don't think any of you are old enough to remember before COVID, but this is how it used to go. It used to go, you wait in line. Some of you remember this. You wait in line like for 10 minutes, you get up there, you have to explain to somebody, "This is what I want," and it's confusing to them, and then you finally get it. But now you just walk in and you can take any of the coffees that are on the counter. I like the Elaine Ice Latte. They do a great job with the Elaine Ice Latte. Early on, my wife and I decided we're not going to use like our psychological superpowers against each other. We're only going to use it to like disparage our friends after parties and to manipulate our children. She does understand. I mean, being a therapist, as a psychiatrist, she does a lot of therapy, but she does not do couples therapy. And couples therapy is hard as a therapist. Like it's hard to sit there and watch all of this like anger and aggression and arguments. Like I'll be sitting there and this woman will just be berating her husband over and over about some petty thing that I'm sure they can wait till later, and I'll have to say, "Karen, honey, can we stop arguing about this?" Because I'm 56 now in straight years, but it's like 78 in gay years, because they keep themselves so much more physically fit. I'm at the point, like I'm just feeling so old. I'm at the point, like everything is bad about being old. Like my cat's getting old, and now she's blind, and which is sad. And my first thought was, oh good, now I can be naked in front of her without feeling self-conscious. But now I'm so unattracted to myself that sometimes when I'm masturbating and I'm looking down at my flabby, smelly body, I'll think, is this even consensual anymore? I mean, I'll think, this guy is taking so long. I don't want to interrupt him because it'll get awkward, you know, but... And in a way, I'm so unattracted to myself at this point that I think I'm just in it for the sex when I'm masturbating, to be quite honest. You know, the saddest thing about that is I'm not sure if I'm more upset or feel bad about being the older man who's like kind of touching this guy's penis a little bit against his will, you know? Or if I feel worse about being this guy who's so desperate to get off, he's letting this old man touch his penis. I think both ways. A lot of the apps are really about like for younger people, and I think we should do more apps for older people. So I came up with a new app for older people. It's just like a GPS, you know, so you have like your general map and stuff, but it stands for gotta pee somewhere. Right? I'm joking, but come on. So the reds are like public restrooms. The greens, you can see lots of trees and bushes, so you can pee without being seen. And the last one, this is my favorite. It's like a group of people who let you pee in their house, and maybe it's like a subscription service. You know, like they can pee in your house, and you can pee in their house, and I would call it